Uh, Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. We are about to start our next session, which is Opportunities to Excel. I request Dr. Idris is already with us. I request the chair, Mohammad Janzeb Khan, the Deputy Chairman, Planning and Commission, is going to be the chair for the session. Accompanied by him would be Yahya Akhundzada, who is the panel, and then Mohammad Atif Hanif, who's the Senior Executive Bank of Khyber. And Dr. Idris, of course, you are here also. Thank you very much. Over to the chair. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Mohammad Adnan Jalil. I'm from Peshawar. I'm a businessman. I'm very much indulged with FPCCI, which is the Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I was their vice president in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It's okay. Currently, I just finished my tenure as the president of Peshawar Small Chamber, which looks after the SME sector. And beside that, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman. I lived many years of my life in London. After moving back from there, I started my career in a banking sector in Karachi. Then I had to move to Peshawar. So I worked 10 years in different multinationals in Pakistan, and then I joined my own family business. So here am I. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to thank PIDE and all the organizers for such a great event. My name is Dr. Shimail Daud. I'm a medical doctor by background. One of my activity is in healthcare. I run private hospitals. I'm in, other than that, in human resource development. That's a separate company, and in healthcare consultancy and digital healthcare. And like Adil Saab, I've also represented the Chambers of Commerce from Rawalpindi. I headed that in 2013 and 14. So hope to learn from you guys and try to contribute. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Jahan Ara. I'd like to thank PIDE for inviting me to Peshawar. I was here about 10 days ago, so for the Digital Youth Summit. I was involved with the Pakistan Software Association for about 30 years, out of which 20 years I was the president. 6 years ago, I started a technology incubator called the Nest.io in Karachi, and through that we incubated about 217 startup businesses. Right now, as of 7 months ago, I started a startup accelerator program called Catalyst Labs, which does two things. One is help incubated companies to get to the next level, connect with investors and mentors. And the second is to develop more women leaders. So women business leaders, I feel, are very short in Pakistan and are needed if we are going to develop the economy further. So that's me.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. I'm thankful to PIDE who invited me for this session. Though I'm not that scholarly a person, I'm a practitioner, but here I found my teachers sitting, young generation, and my senior sitting here. So for me, what would I say, what would be my input in this? But as a practitioner, I've seen many opportunities that have come up and that have been missed, and we are still missing those opportunities. So I would give you a bit of the practical aspects of those opportunities which have come in our way and we have missed it. I'm currently working as Secretary Elementary and Secondary Education, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. I joined civil services after graduating as a civil engineer in 2004 and served in different fields, field assignments, and there are different secretariat assignments. Secretary Health, Secretary Finance, now Secretary Elementary and Secondary Education, as Commissioner D.I. Khan, as Deputy Commissioner in 2 districts, and as political agent in 3 districts, 3 agencies, the then agencies, merged areas. So I'll be discussing mostly about the practical aspects and the practical opportunities that we have come through and we have missed. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Atif Hanif. First of all, thanks PIDE for inviting me. I'm a banker by profession. I did my business degree from California a long time back. I came back in early 90s and spent few years in capital markets. After that, I joined banking. For last 23 years, I've been in banking. I started my career as MTO Badge 1 of Bank Al Falah, and then later on went to join Habib Bank, and for last 15 years, I'm and I'm an Islamic banker. Presently, I am a Senior Executive Vice President and Group Head of Islamic Banking in Bank of Khyber. I would like to give my input from the financial sector, that how it is evolving and how it can help youth. Apart from that, certain very clear opportunities that are available for especially people of KP, which are being ignored. I would like to shed some light on that as well. Thank you.
So we have a very exciting theme, ladies and gentlemen, opportunities to excel. And let me start from Jahara. What is excellence?
I think that's a very tough question. Excellence, excellence like success, I would define it as anything that you feel defines you. So whatever it is that you do, you should do it really well. And that won't automatically happen. You will need to work really hard at it. And you will have to make sure that you continue to learn, to teach yourself, to educate yourself in order to achieve that top level excellence in whatever it is that you want to do. So you must be interested in it. You must have the passion for it. Otherwise, you will probably be very lazy about it and not achieve the top layer that you are looking at. So in my opinion, that's excellence.
So what is excellence like to be in a global environment which is digitized and you're competing with people elsewhere in the world? You don't even know, you're competing with them. So you defined excellence. I'd like to know, what is it like to be in competition for excellence in a global environment?
So, when you are now working on anything, you are not competing just within Pakistan, and I think Dr. Arshad also talked about this morning. You are competing globally. So whatever you learn, whatever you practice has to be according to a certain standard, and that standard is global. So in order to even compete with people globally, you need to know what is being done. You need to know what standard exists all around the world and what it is that you need to teach yourself in order to compete with people all around the world. So I think you need to be aware. Very often we are not aware and we have no excuses anymore. There was a time when we were not connected globally, but now because of the internet, we are connected with almost anyone, anywhere in the world, and there is no excuse for not knowing what is happening outside. So in order to compete globally, you need to reach that standard that people are following anywhere else in the world.
I think the world is moving to a global village, and the information which anyone has it abroad, we have the same image, because all day long, like in my own house, everybody is indulged with our smartphones. So I think we do learn a lot from it. I think that the youth of this country, and especially the land of hospitality and the land of talented people in which we are sitting today, has a great potential. And now the phenomena has been changed. Now we are giving opportunity to our kids. My own daughter is in NCA. My other daughter is moving to NCA, inshallah. So I think, yes, we do learn a lot. Every day we do learn a lot. And our youth, I mean, if you look into that, because I was luckily a part of the KPITB for 3 years as a board member. And during that, when the IT board was launched way back in 2012, we worked very hard with the youth, with academia. So the youth should come and should become their own entrepreneurs. They should start their own things like software. Now, I was very surprised that the talent we have in Peshawar, the software they make, the things they offer to the world. I think we need to encourage them, we need to support them, and we need to be with them, whether we are at the chamber, whether we are at the FPCCI, or we are at the institution. The time has come, give them the opportunity, and they should do what they want to do.
Well, so do you think sitting here in Peshawar or even further north or south, these young people have impediments or they are at any disadvantage to other people who are working around?
Well, the only disadvantage we have is in Pakistan, we do not have a good internet. Unfortunately, even if you go with the big companies, they are not giving because shared, and you know, this is a common problem. Otherwise, I think through technology, disadvantage has been diminished. This is my viewpoint, because a person, as I said, it's a global thing. So there are a lot of people who are sitting in their own home and they are connected to the other part of the world and they are doing multiple projects together. Like this conference is on Zoom, we are here also, it's virtually also. So anybody can see what we are talking about right now. So I think disadvantage factor has gone away. And the youth, which is nearly a 60% of the population, has to stand for this country. They have to do, because our generation and the generation जो हमसे पहले हैं, it's your time to take care of this country and change this destiny, because where we are economically is not very good. So I think the digitalization, because now what we want them to get their money. PayPal should be here, the other facilities, they are having a lot of, their money has been parked in different banks outside the country. Because I decided way back in about 10 years ago, I got an IT firm. मैं SAP को पाकिस्तान में पेशावर में लाया. SAP, have you heard of SAP? It's a ERP. मैंने बहुत बड़ी कोशिश की, जर्मनी से मैंने उसको लाया यहाँ, एजुकेशन सेंटर उसका बनाया. मुझे कोई भी सरकार ने सपोर्ट नहीं दी. मैं डिस्पाइट में KPITB का बोर्ड मेंबर था, उनके पास बहुत से पैसे थे. मैंने कहा जी आए मेरे बच्चों को पढ़ाएं ERP. उनको ग्रांट दे, क्योंकि 2300 यूरोस कोई पे नहीं कर सकता था. I never got, the point has come that the government has to think now very loudly कि हमने किस पैरामीटर्स पे जाना है, हमने कितना सपोर्ट करना है, क्योंकि फाइनेंस इज़ अ मेन कंस्ट्रेंट. आज जो भी हमारा स्टूडेंट है और जो भी IT में है या जो भी कुछ कर रहा है, वो अपने पाँव पे खड़े होकर कर रहा है. उसको वो सरकार वो सपोर्ट नहीं दे रही है. क्योंकि मेरा ताल्लुक थोड़ा सा पॉलिटिकली भी है और मैं गवर्नमेंट के साथ काफ़ी अरसे से काम भी कर रहा हूँ. जो सपोर्ट आज हमें अपने यूथ को देनी है, वो सपोर्ट प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट को या फेडरल गवर्नमेंट को प्लान्स तो बहुत बना देते हैं, लेकिन ग्राउंड रियलिटी में दे आर नॉट गिविंग व्हाट द यूथ ऑफ दिस कंट्री नीड्स इट.
Yaya, there's mention of the role of government and how the government has to provide the opportunities. And our speakers, distinguished speakers, have been talking about how digital connectivity has changed the world. What is the education department doing to provide this connectivity?
Can you hear me? Yes. First, I'll just give you a brief of my understanding of excellence. Excellence is a term which means different for every person. For a 9th class or a 10th class student, excellence would mean getting such a score where he could get an admission into the best college. For FSC students, the excellence would be getting into a professional college. For an IT student, it would be getting his degree and getting a good job into a good place. But for a nation, excellence is something different. That then comes into the state relationship with the in a global context. Keeping that in mind, yes, we have an opportunity in our hand today as well, and we are missing it with a we are not thinking on why we are missing it. Single national curriculum. It's a buzzword everywhere, but it's again a combination of a traditional curriculum, physics, Pak studies, maths, Quranic studies, Islamiyat, history, geography. Nothing which the opportunity in hand is. The opportunity in hand currently is the information technology. And if we don't shift our students towards that, I think we will miss this opportunity. But the SNC is missing that opportunity again. Alhamdulillah, for me, excellence means to be at times a chief secretary or a federal secretary and get retired into BS22 and then able to get a job in some reputable international financial organization with a good pay, that would be an excellence for me as in my career. But an excellence for me in education department is to introduce digital education in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in public schools, entrepreneurship, and introduction of students to the startups. And Alhamdulillah, and digitization of education system. That is my, for me, if I could introduce that, and I put the education department on that track, for me that would be an excellence. With the support of the provincial government and my minister, who is backing me fully, inshallah we will be starting model smart education system in 35 schools of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa with a starting from class 6th, we will early childhood programming will be started in class 6th, 7th and 8th. That would be coding, they will learn coding, the students who are interested in that. But at least in the schools they will be introduced, the idea would go to the schools. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, we will be starting entrepreneurship and introduction to this startups by giving them very basic incubation centers. They will be connected to National Incubation Center. I am in discussion with them. They'll be supporting us in that. And yes, we are also starting robotics in 5 government schools with the help of NAST. So for me, this would be an excellence. But my SNC is missing this opportunity. As a nation, we are missing this opportunity. My government, my public schools, they give education to mere 5 lakh students. But my government schools, they are giving education to 6.0 million students. Now, if these 5 million students are introduced to this modern opportunity, but that 6 million students are lagging behind, I don't think so we could excel and we have grasped the opportunity. Thank you.
Dr. Shumail, what would it mean to have excellence in medical sciences in a global environment where the standards that are required of international institutions, let's take COVID for instance, something very current, Pakistan, like the rest of the globe, has endured it. What would it mean if we don't have excellence, whether our people will be able to travel, other people will come here, what kind of labs, what kind of credibility and integrity of data do we require for that?
Right.
Is that part of excellence?
Thank you so much. Before we go towards answering that, I think the base of excellence is information. And right now, although the governments and the provincial governments around the country have formulated regulatory programs in the form of commissions, they're called healthcare commissions, and the main purpose is to regulate healthcare, both public and private. But the basic, you can say, missing gap, and that also creates opportunities for the future entrepreneurs and students or job seekers, is to bridge that gap. So that information is the basis on which excellence can be achieved. So going from there, that is definitely one local element. However, as you mentioned, the international recognition like ISO certifications, we have JCI, or these international accreditations. And why this excellence becomes important, not only for our local domestic patients and their families, so they get the best of care, but also for international, you can say, for the proposed health tourism, for which many countries, round about at least 10 or so countries, are doing really well. If we look on our very close to us. India is doing close to $6 billion worth of revenues from health tourism, and they have about 500,000 people coming in. Turkey has recently entered into this arena, and they're doing really well, and they are going into a couple of $1 billion. So just to give you a comparison, in Pakistan, per capita, we are spending about $45 per person. That includes the private out-of-pocket as well as the government. That's about $9 billion. So imagine that our total expenditure is $9 billion versus only in health tourism, these countries are making billions of dollars. So these are the possibilities. So to answer your question, if we achieve this excellence, obviously we can benefit our people locally, but if we develop these centers of excellence, we can attract not only expats who are living abroad, we can attract other people who can come, who can go to the northern areas, spend some time, and they can have those verticals, let's say 10 verticals, they can have cardiac surgery or cornea replacement, etc. And we definitely have, as earlier this morning there was a talk about that, we have some core strengths, and our clinicians, our doctors are at best, they're working around the world, and some of them have come back with all those skills. So I think we can definitely benefit, and that is, it opens up a whole, huge opportunity for Pakistan. So excellence for me is, opportunities. Excellence means good outputs, good, outcomes and measures for our people, and good health outcomes.
Continuing on this, Dr. Shumail, you think the ecosystem now, this is again for Dr. Shumail, provides opportunities for the gender balance to be there, for both the genders and the, even transgenders to be able to achieve what their potential is? Is there a leveler in information technology, or the females or other elements are still have impediments and barrier to information?
Well, as far, I'm going to give a perspective from healthcare side, and I think within healthcare, definitely there are more opportunities and more possibilities for people to come forward. Having said that, we still see that there are certain areas to which society and generally there is more attractive approach towards the women might go into certain aspects and certain areas, and they might not go into. So there are less people in theater staff, theater technicians. There are less people in technical staff that have to do with radiology and other interventional areas. You might see more in nursing, more in doctors, or so some of the fields are totally vacant. So I think that we have a long way to go as far as creating the comfort zones for our gender to go into those fields. I don't think there is a discouragement from the universities or educational institutions. I just think that society as a whole looks differently towards certain job tasks and job titles, and sometimes that is, we are missing out on that. So having said that, we definitely are lacking on a larger scale in technical staff. These days, I see every day a lot of women are going into physical therapy. A lot of women from that standpoint are going into pharmaceutical sector, but somehow the other, most of them are going into these fields because the universities are offering these, you can say, programs without really, you can say, doing the planning or having the understanding. And again, there is a lack of information. They do not know that how many jobs are there, how many possibilities are there. So they are left with looking for jobs. I still think that there are more opportunities around that, but having said that, I think healthcare is one area, one sector where women are easily welcome, and I think they feel more comfortable working around in that environment, in that ambience.
Well, Asif, what is a banker's perspective on excellence?
Banker's perspective on excellence is not different from, in general, by other sectors, but I'll particularly mention that as a sector, not as an individual, but as a sector, we have a lot of challenges to achieve excellence in our industry. For example, we are one of the few countries in the world where 80% of the adults do not have bank accounts still. So the challenges that the industry at large is facing are multidimensional. One, of course, is the circumstances which is making which is making the sector change, and we are probably the last generation of bankers that the public will see in its existing banking industry form. Technology is going to change the entire sector very, very, very rapidly. Very soon, we are going to get to a point where more accounts are being opened digitally than physically through our branches, which means is that the employment opportunities, that's the reason I sort of deferred my answer directly to the excellence, is because the employment opportunities in banking industry are going to change very rapidly. Normally, when people would complete their MBAs and look forward to joining a bank, that situation is going to change very, very rapidly due to technological developments. Secondly, due to digital currencies. The central bank's digital currency phenomena, which has started in some countries like China and about to start in Russia as well, it is going to completely change the spectrum of the deposits that banks carry in their books and in their branches and in their accounts. People will have direct access to the central bank's digital currency held in a central account in a central bank, which is the State Bank of Pakistan. So banks will not have deposits of customers anymore. It may take 5 to 10 years to reach Pakistan, but it's not far away. That is going to completely change not only the deposit side, but also the lending side, because the fintech will then take the other side of the banking, which is the lending side. So the deposits will go to the central bank, and then central bank will provide financing lines to those fintechs which will be very efficient and very modern and enable us to provide financing facilities to their consumer and business customers. So yes, in our personal lifetime careers, the excellence was to start as an MTO batch, we get selected in one of the banks, and then retire as a president maybe. So yes, that is excellent in terms of excellence in terms of career path, but there's more to it, because there's so much challenge with not only in the industry but the sector as a whole as well. If the businesses cannot exist and cannot survive and cannot continue with the challenges of the present day and the future days, then banks also are threatened in terms of their opportunities to lend, and the wealth, if the wealth of our population at large is being challenged by other countries, and exports or other manufacturing sector is going to shift to other countries, then obviously Pakistan banking sector and the Pakistan economy overall is going to lose. So there are multiple challenges that we see as banks, but especially pertaining to KP, I would like to mention a few things, that there are certain sectors which have a lot of upside of development. Tourism is one, and if I can, Dr. Idris, request that picture. Tourism is one, and number two is the branding of our resources. Whatever products we have, whether it is the food, whether it is our handicrafts, they need to be developed into a more modern products and sellable products, and then be able to, like franchises, be available in shops and places like why is it that Chitrali Patti is still being used to make the same topi which was used 100 years ago? Why Khadi type brands are not using for their woolen clothing? And why is it that the same wool is being used? Why don't we have better sheep from Australia to give better products in terms of wool? So our sectors need to be enhanced. So as I'm mentioning these things because I'm sitting in a business university, so the business entrepreneurs need to come up and see how they can upgrade their resources and sell their products, services, natural resources better. I'm sharing a picture here. This is a business conference held a few days ago. And can anybody guess which country is this conference? Can just anybody say the name of a country probably where this ambience could be? By the way, is a very usual way of holding very high-end business conferences, corporate conferences in Europe, where they hire buildings which are 300 or 400 years old and then refurbish it and use it for a business conference for a day. And such conferences are more costlier than five-star conferences, five-star hotel conferences in Europe. We did this in a heart of the Peshawar city, in an old house which is 200 years old. And this was done only a week ago. And for a conference like this in Europe, this should easily cost $100,000 to $150,000. We paid 10,000 rupees. So in social media, these pictures are being circulated throughout Pakistan in all the head offices of the banks and the corporates and the companies, that there is a place available in Pakistan where you can hold such ambience and such heritage related conference environment. Now somebody from this youth need to market this at international level and at best level because we deserve much better than that. So my point was that why is chapli kebab only being sold at Jalil? Why is it not being sold throughout the world like KFC or Pizza Hut? So there is a lot of food for thought for the youth, that why is it that we get used to of selling ourselves cheap. Average tourist that comes to Pakistan spends $20 a day. The world average is $160 a day. So a simple chai and paratha is not worth it, because if you go to any northern area site and ask for a chai and paratha and then go and see how they are cooking it, they are burning dayar. So for $20 a day, our environmental depreciation even does not allow this tourism. So the tourism is not worth it for Pakistan unless the tourist is spending $60 to $70 a day minimum. Otherwise, it is destroying our economy and our environment.
Jahara, you've got a lot of young people here. How would they know they are on the path of excellence? What would they need to look at?
So before I talk about that, I think there's one thing that we haven't touched on, and that's the involvement of women in the generic task force that we have, the workforce that we have. There are not enough women. In healthcare, you're right, there are more women than there are in any other sector. In the technology sector, we have only about 14% women. And there's no reason for that, because women are as talented and as able to contribute to the tech sector as men are. But there are very few women. I don't know why, whether they are demotivated when they are at university, that this is not a sector for women. And it's not all about coding. The technology sector is about a lot else. You know, it's about data collection, data and analytics. It's about user experience. It's about creating things for men and women. So if only men are developing products, then they are not looking at it from another perspective. And if we are going to export those products, then we need to make sure that they are diverse. So this is the reason why I think more women need to be involved in all careers. And they should not think that they are not able to reach the topmost of those careers. So that is one of the reasons that I have set up Catalyst Labs, and I'm working on the Women Leadership Program, because whenever there are any major events, especially at government level, there are 5 women who get invited to speak. They say there are no more women leaders. And why is that? Because many women do not feel that they can get to those positions. And I don't even understand why, because the women that we work with, they are smart, they are confident, they are knowledgeable, they are very committed to the work that they do, but yet people tell them that they cannot reach those corporate leadership positions that they should be able to do. So I think all of us need to take ownership for that, whether it is government, although mostly I would think government should just stay out of the way and let us as a community do the work that needs to be done to make sure that women are involved in almost every sphere of business. And they are already involved in community. You look at most of the social aspects of society and many women are involved. When I look at startups who have been part of our cohorts, there have been women who are working on education solutions. There have been women who are working on solutions for the deaf. There are women who are working on software that is used in healthcare. So, I mean, they are looking at problems that Pakistan as a country faces, and they're trying to find solutions to make sure that those problems are tackled. So we need to bring those women forward, and you will see excellence in these women because they are so committed, they want to do the best that they can. And training and education is no longer a problem. We do not need to depend on whether that training is available locally. Most of the training, whether it is technology training or anything else, is available. MIT, Stanford have made all their curriculum available online. Coursera is something that many of our youngsters use to upgrade themselves. So all that training is available online. Yes, we need to improve the internet connectivity so that anything that's available in animated form or video content is available at a better speed. But I think all that knowledge is available for us to access. All we need to do is go online and access it and use it for our advantage. And then work collaboratively to make sure that we are developing solutions for the betterment of Pakistan.
So I'll still insist on giving a marker of people knowing that they are on the path of excellence. How would anyone, so let's pick up somebody.
Okay.
The gentleman just near the camera. Yes, sir. How do you know you are on the path of excellence?
करें और जो भी अपॉर्चुनिटीज आपको आती है उसको हिट करते जाए, तो इस तरीके से टाइम मैनेजमेंट के मुताबिक हो जाते हैं. So I'm on the excellence. When I was in 2004, I was in a yellow dress school, and then I sell sandwiches as well as, and one time I picked an opportunity that was a PIDE. I did MSc, then AERC, and then I'm a lecturer at, I remained lecturer at IBS Sector and BUTAMS, and then so on. So this is what, how you are picking opportunity, and what is space to you. So this, I'm like that. So this is my.
Thank you very much. If you could move just behind the girl in the blue, just behind you, please. The one wearing mask. Do you think you're on the path of excellence? Yes, yes, madam.
Assalamu alaikum. I think so. I'm focusing on my degree, and my priorities are achieving, having a good GPA and learning from my degree, not only in terms of what I'm learning in class, but having an experience that is that this university is providing. And my first method, I really want to get my degree, get done with my degree, and then let's see where. I'm really confused. So, but I feel like what I'm doing is right, and I will enjoy it in my future as well. Thank you.
I think you need to first, as this young lady said, first you need to define what the path is, what is the goal that you're aiming for, and then make those milestones that are necessary to achieve those goals. Then you know that you're on that path. The test is that if you are not getting there, if you are not meeting those milestones, if you're not doing what you set yourself, then you're failing. So, and failing, I think, is another thing that we look at very grimly in this country. But it's through failing that you learn how to get up and try something else. And that in the startup ecosystem is encouraged.
So tell us, if the goal setting is at a lower level, are you still on a path of excellence if you achieve your goals?
It should not be at a lower level. You should start at a lower level and then define it at different levels for yourself. So I was talking to a young woman the other day in Islamabad, and she said, I have set myself 5 stages of growth. And each stage has to be achieved at a certain milestone. Only then do I know that I have gotten there. So, no, don't just set that first stage. Set all 5 stages of your development. It may change over time due to the environment, due to things that are changing in the environment and in the workspace, but set yourself and your goals till the top of what you want to achieve.
Very good. So anybody in the audience who has the highest ambition, you've set all your goals right now. Anyone?
My name is Rahmanul Ahan. I'm PhD scholar over here at IIM Sciences. The panel discussion is a good one, but it is particularly focused on the individual excellence. What my thinking is that we should also talk about institutional excellence, and particularly public institutions. Whenever an individual wants to excel and launch any activity or large application with any public sector institutions, then that must be moved ahead by that particular public sector institutions. So if public sector institutions are not responsive, if they themselves are not on the path toward excellence, then I think individual excellence will not be achieved and may not achieve those goals and targets which they have in mind. So I think we should also emphasize institutional excellence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yaya, would you want to respond to that?
Very pertinently said. Unless we don't put our institutions on the path of excellence as a nation, we cannot. Excellence starts with education. Unless and until you don't have put your education on the right path, you cannot excel in any way. Let me give you a few examples. The first excellence that comes to my mind is the word Iqra. When it came, all those who joined it, they excelled. Getting an example from the recent history, how many of you knows about Sputnik moment? Not this vaccine, but Sputnik moment. Does anybody can raise hand if anybody knows about the Sputnik moment? Anybody? It's in the European and American history. Anybody who can raise hand? Let me explain it to you. Go and check it on the net. Sputnik was the first thing to go into the space by Russia, 1957, if I'm not wrong. But that was Sputnik as a craft. The Sputnik moment was the moment when Americans got the news in the evening of, that was I think 25th of October or something, I may be wrong in the date. That was the moment. That is called the Sputnik moment. The news that the first rocket has reached the space, when this news went to Europe, that was the Sputnik moment. And it changed the history of Europe and America. And today America and Europe is at excellence because of that single moment, the Sputnik moment. Read about it, just Google it on internet and you'll find it that with that Sputnik, they changed their education system. They revamped their education system. They invested in their education system. They invested in science and mathematics. That's how they got excellence. Unless and until you don't change the education system, you cannot achieve excellence. And one thing, sir, you asked how to go to an excellence. And my advice, can anybody explain me khayali pulao, building castles in the air? We have read it in Urdu and we would always smile on this word. But if you cannot cook and well cook khayali pulao, you cannot excel. The first thing to excel is to cook a khayali pulao, to build a castle in the air. Then find ways to reach that castle, and from khayali pulao to bring it into your practicality. Only then you can excel. So keep cooking khayali pulao and cook them well. I cooked a khayali pulao. I can share that 50-second video with you if I'm allowed to, if my laptop could be from my car. And now I am converting it into practicality. But once again, I would say, unless and until you don't change your education system, you don't bring your education system on the modern lines, not in a few schools, but all across, you cannot excel. The second thing is this technical education, vocational education. We are not preparing, we are just preparing certificates from the schools, degrees. So so keep cooking khayali pulao. Thank you.
Adnan, we've spoken a great deal about excellence. Where are the opportunities?
The world is, जिस याया साहब ने जिस फरमाया है, I think when we are young, we need to sit, we need to plan our life, where we want to study, what we have to study. We have to have an inner soul searching. कि हमने क्या करना है और क्या बनना है. Doctors के engineers के अलावा हमने क्या बनना है. There are so many things coming up. I think opportunities, it's everywhere. I think this country has more opportunities than the West. Because हमारी जो opportunities हैं, हमारा जो social system है, is very different from them. अगर उधर नहीं है तो सरकार उनको sustain करता है. हमें तो अपने sustainability के लिए भी भाग दौड़ करनी पड़ती है कि how we have to sustain ourselves. I think the youth of this country is very promising, and they would like to deliver. They would like to do something, and we all are pampered. I was pampered when my parents pampered me, I pampered my girls, and my girls will gonna pamper their kids. So I think this thing is in nature, but I think the whole dilemma, the whole philosophy is getting changed in our houses. Now we are encouraging our kids to do something, to stand on their own feet, and to give something back to this country, because this country needs us. Because if we are not gonna do it, look at Bangladesh. I've been there many times. Look at the sentiments these people have. We have to become nationalists. If we become nationalists, if we love our country, if we care for us, then we are the people who are going to change the problems we have in these countries. So I think from the weaknesses we have, the problem we have to turn them into the opportunity. How are we going to do it? The young brains are sitting here, they're going to do it, inshallah.
The bearded gentleman, do you think we have opportunities? You have opportunities. So what are the opportunities that you look at? What have you got in front of you?
Sir, it all depends upon an individual's perception. I mean, whatever they look at to achieve the excellence and the hard work they perform, so whatever the field they like to go with.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Probably the coordinator of a program in an institute.
Coordinator of a program, wonderful. The girl at the far end, red scarf please. Do you think there are opportunities? The last one.
Sir, different opportunities है, like social media jobs भी हम कर सकते हैं, और हर तरह के like जिस तरह से डिस्कस किया था AI को यूज़ करते हुए हम बहुत सारी opportunities we have.
आपका highest goal क्या है?
Sir, एज आई एम पॉलिटिकल साइंस स्टूडेंट तो मेनली मेरा है CSP और समथिंग लाइक दैट।
Civil service.
यस सर।
Is that excellence?
Yes, sir, if I do.
Does it allow you to think? Gigi, we'll come to you, Prem. Does civil service allow you to think?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
Everything. It's authoritative, so obviously we can do something better for our country.
Very good. Yes, the girl in the blue.
So I just want to make two comments after hearing the discussion. Number one, how do you define opportunity? For my 4-year-old son, an opportunity would be to eat out of the Nutella bottle without his mommy looking at him. So each person sitting over here would define opportunity in a different way. Similarly, each person would define excellence in a different way. It's subjective. So you can't actually tell people that this is excellence, you should follow that. So I want all of you to help me understand what is the meaning of opportunity and what is excellence and how it is subjective.
Thank you very much. So, Shumail,
can I take a jab at
where are
that?
the opportunities?
Okay. So thank you for asking that question. How I look at it, I may be wrong. Opportunity, in my view, is all the gaps around us. It's all the things we think are negative around us. So in healthcare, agar main example do, if people are not, getting the information that they need to make decisions, could be doctors, they could be patients. Patients don't trust their doctors. People are not able to make informed choices. People are not able to get, they cannot find, they cannot decide which equipment or which medicine to take. People cannot make up their mind about the side effects of different things. ये तमाम इस किस्म के जितने गैप्स हमारे इर्द गिर्द नज़र आते हैं, हम यहाँ से बाहर निकलेंगे तो कूड़ा पड़ा होगा तो वो भी अपॉर्चुनिटी है. People have created that into multi-million-dollar opportunity, जिससे वो कूड़े से पूरी इंडस्ट्री बना रहे हैं. तो हमारे पाकिस्तान में चूँकि बहुत ज़्यादा काम हुआ नहीं है, तो इस वजह से अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ एंडलेस हैं. और दूसरी बात यहाँ मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि खुदा के लिए भूल जाएं कि एवर कि गवर्नमेंट विल हेल्प यू. I think you will have to create your opportunity. Forget about this, what is an opportunity. Think about how you will create an opportunity. And I agree with Yahya Saab about Khayali Pulao. It starts with thinking. Until and unless you think, you will not be able to create. And I'll characterize this so that it doesn't look like a lecture. In 2007, one of my colleagues and I was part of that, we did a project. It was a funded project for 300 marginalized youth like yourself who had graduated and did not have any jobs. And they were all from poor backgrounds, and it was, for them, they were so poor that nobody in their family had a job. So we were given fund to do their skills enhancement for 10 days. Somehow or the other, we were able to, take it to a 1-month period. And what we found was that they were holding all those, जिस तरह अभी वहाँ पे एक student ने जिक्र किया, they were holding certain attitudes. नौकरी जो है वो सिफारिश के बगैर नहीं मिल सकती, etc. सिर्फ पावे के साथ हो सकता है काम, वगैरह वगैरह. पक्की नौकरी बेहतर होती है. We were able to get out of those 300, जिसमें 100, there were 100 females and 200, I think, boys. Guys, we were able to get over 270 people employed. And why we were able to do that was we were able to give them a different perspective of looking at themselves. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it is your attitude which at times is holding you back to look around yourself and not really exert. If some of you want to excel and become in excellence, as sir was saying, you will have to put in that effort. You'll have to do that heavy lifting. If you're not putting in that effort, if you're not upgrading yourself, if you're not investing in yourself, if you are not following a discipline, if some of you have read or seen the videos of Atomic Habits, there is a certain level of discipline that you will have to follow. And that discipline means reading every day, upgrading your knowledge, जुस्तजू पैदा करने की ज़रूरत है. Look around yourself. अगर आपको कोई नौकरी नहीं देता, जाके फ्री में काम करें, experience gain करें. While you are in your parents' house, you are in the students, आप पढ़ रहे हैं, आप फ्री में काम करें, काम सीखें, experiences gain करें. क्योंकि जो ये स्किल है, जो डिग्री है, ये जो आपकी डिग्री है, ये merely is just a skill. It is not a guarantee कि आपको इससे कोई नौकरी मिल जाएगी. इट इज़ जस्ट मेयरली अ स्किल कि आपको देखने का एक आईना, एक अंदाज दिया जा रहा है, उससे आप कुछ भी क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. एंड दोज एक्सपीरियंसेस विल लीड टू यू अल्टीमेटली रीचिंग योर डेस्टिनेशन.
Yes, Asif, how do you spot opportunities?
I'll say if the opportunities are very obvious and they can be seen by everyone, then they are not opportunities anymore. Opportunities lie when they are about to be discovered and not the mainstream population has joined the wagon. Once it has been a mainstream wagon phenomena, then they are not really an opportunity. You are not among those who are going to get the maximum benefit out of it. I can recall a Sufi saying which I once read is fishes, I'm sorry if I can remember, it was 30 years ago. Fishes asking what water was went to a wise fish, and the wise fish answered that it is something that is all around you, but you still feel thirsty. So opportunities, like I say, if banking industry or hotel industry as it is exist, if somebody is looking at that as an opportunity, it is an opportunity, but it is in a very, very competitive environment, and you can still excel. People like me, alhamdulillah, have done very well in banking, so I can't complain. But the way this world is evolving is, one thing is very clear, that whatever is available today will not be available in today's form tomorrow. So everything is so rapidly changing that opportunities are going to continue to change, and one has to keep looking, exploring, and use their own creativity on how to benefit and achieve maximum out of it. Like few examples, I'm sorry, Dr. Sabha, I gave some examples before this question actually. Like this particular conference facility, this is being given out at 10,000 rupees a day. Now this can be easily given out at 1,000,000 rupees a day, but not by the person who owns that building, because he doesn't have the marketing and the vision to do that. Somebody from you can actually establish a marketing company, an event organizing company for corporate sector, and pick them up from Karachi, manage the entire thing end to end, and then take them back and just give them the experience of the highest order. And you can make millions of rupees a year out of this. But so the opportunities have to be discovered. Since my entire passion about writing, all my published articles are about only those subjects which were unseen. I started writing about subjects which have nothing to do with banking actually. I started writing on the importance of learning Chinese language for Pakistani youth in 2004 and 5. Now it is the CPEC phenomena. So I still say that's not too late, because when we interact with the Chinese companies and we see the opportunities that those companies have for those youth who can speak or read or write Chinese is humongous. No matter what profession you are in, even if you are a driver and you don't have a job, but you can speak Chinese, and Chinese is being taught free of cost, even in cities like Peshawar. You will get a job with the president of a Chinese company. And if you're an accountant, you're an MBA, you are, somebody is a chef, the opportunities are humongous. So you have to see beyond what is your obvious visibility to find opportunities. I wrote an article, Dr. Sahab, when I came to know that olive plantation, which starts from Spain and Morocco, this world suitable olive plantation geography starts from Morocco and Spain, moves through Mediterranean and ends in Potohar. So and wherever olive can be grown, there are signs of wild olives. And the last wild olive jungle on the planet is Bara Kahu. And Kahu is olive in Potohari language. So anywhere between Durand Line, Afghan border to Potohar, this entire area can be cultivated for olive just like Spain. So I passionately started writing about in 2010-11. Now people have started, 2005-6. Now people have learned to know, and government is totally on board, and olive has been grown all over KP and Balochistan and Potohar. So opportunities are not really, in my definition of opportunities, are not what everyone can see. So you have to find your opportunities. Thank you.
Very good. So back to the audience. Who wants to be an entrepreneur?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Rahman. I am from Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, from Management Sciences. I always want to be an entrepreneur because I have quite experience of being an artist from my childhood until now. और मैं स्केचिंग पेंटिंग करते रहता हूँ और मैं अपना ही एक सेटअप था मेरे मुल्तान में, अभी इस्लामाबाद शिफ्ट हुआ तो वहाँ पे मैं एज एन आर्टिस्ट मशहूर था. यहाँ पे भी मैंने आहिस्ता आहिस्ता काम किया, थ्रेड आर्ट के ऊपर भी काम किया. सो आई एम परसीविंग कि मैं फर्दर पाकिस्तान का बेस्ट आर्टिस्ट बनूँ इंशाल्लाह.
तो आपको क्या सपोर्ट चाहिए? लेट्स से फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट. डू यू एक्सपेक्ट एनीथिंग फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट टू सक्सीड?
यस, आई डिडंट गॉट यू वर्ड.
व्हाट इज योर एक्सपेक्टेशन फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट?
अबाउट व्हाट?
आपको सक्सेस जो आपने सक्सीड करना है.
सक्सेस मेरा ये है कि आई वाजंट एबल टू डू सच थिंग्स. मुझे आर्ट की तरफ, मुझे पेरेंट्स की तरफ से अलाउ नहीं था. मैं छुप छुप के करता रहता था. फिर जब मैंने पहली बार नैब की तरफ से पोजीशन हासिल की, देन दे ओन्ड मी, कि उन्होंने कहा कि गो व्हाट यू वांट टू डू.
वेरी गुड. एनी फीमेल इन द ऑडियंस हु थिंक शी हैज़ अ यूनिक आइडिया टू परसू? यूनिक, आपका ख्याल है कि और किसी के पास ये थॉट नहीं है? एनीवन?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anam Nadeem and I'm a student of University of Peshawar, Economics Department. It's not a unique idea, it's very common, but I'm very passionate about it, and I want to be an entrepreneur of, what should we call it? In my language it's block printing. Block printing? Do you know that?
Block printing, okay, block printing, yes, yes, please.
Because nowadays it's trending in fashion as well. So,
Yes, please. And there's a gentleman there also. We'll give opportunity to both. The girl on the third row.
Assalamu alaikum. Sir, my name is Mehwish Ehsan. I am lecturer at Shahid Benazir Bhutto Women University. Sir, I would like to share two things. First, I think opportunity and excellence is relevant to the individual personality. I seems more it is related to your own needs. When I was studying BBA honors, my target or my goal was to complete my degree, and then I have to work in any sector. Like I was more interested to have a job, and that's it. But when I got my degree of BBA honors, then my goals have changed. Then I was thinking, no, this is not was my ultimate objective. I would like to have something higher. Then I started another degree, MS in Management Sciences, and my objective was to become a lecturer. In that duration, to support my studies, I have worked in media as well. I was working in CRSS, Center for Research and Security Studies. So at that point, I was a little confused that whether I have to pursue my career in media or in education sector. Then I was like completely devoted to the media. But then from the family and all other things considering, I diverted my intentions towards the education sector. So then my goals are again changed because of the circumstances and because of my needs. Now I am a lecturer, but today my goal is not to become assistant professor. Now I am thinking more about research, and I want to excel in research and those kind of things. I want to be an expert in research. So my goal is not to excel in Pakistan, but I want to work abroad. So my goals have been changing over the whole period with the passage of time according to my family and my other circumstances. So I think success and opportunity both are relative things, and for me, I don't know, you may define it better, that whether the objectives that was changing over the period of time, as ma'am said that you should set your objectives for 4 or 5 steps ahead. So I think a person cannot set their objectives 5 steps ahead. When we move ahead, we set our objectives differently. So I think these opportunities and these excellence is relevant to the individual personality and their needs. So whenever you are thirsty to complete those things that you need in your life, you will definitely search for opportunity and excellence. If you don't have that thirst, you may not see those opportunities and those avenues towards the excellence. So the unique idea is, that's what I'm saying, that it is relevant to the personality. And secondly, if you are asking about the unique idea of the business, so yes, I have a unique idea. I have presented at so many other platforms as well, but I don't know why, even I have succeeded to get approval from different people, but still I don't have any funding or any opportunity. So I'm trying on my own level that I should start this business, and one day I will achieve, and then I will show to the world that yes, I can do it by my own. I don't need anyone's help to execute this idea into practicality. So this is what.
Thank you. The gentleman over there who rose his hand. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shaukat Masood. I am data science 3rd semester student. सर चूँकि अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ की बात चल रही है, तो मैं वो बात करना चाहता हूँ सर कि एज आई बिलोंग टू साउथ वज़ीरिस्तान, सर हम वहाँ पे जो लोग हैं सर, उसको कैसे अपॉर्चुनिटी हम हाउ वी कैन गिव अपॉर्चुनिटी टू दिस पीपल, सर जहाँ पे ना कोई इंटरनेट ना कोई अदर फैसिलिटीज़ है जो कि उसके ज़रिए वो ये अपॉर्चुनिटी गेन कर सके, तो सर हाउ वी कैन गिव अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ टू दिस पीपल.
So we'll keep that question. We'll come back to Yahya to answer that question. Yes, sir.
Sir, my name is Kaser. I'm from Krakow International University. So my question is from the point where we started our discussion, where you started in fact your discussion, what is excellence? And two of our worthy speakers, they said that the excellence is actually where profession and the passion in fact meet together. So if I talk about passion, so half of the Pakistan boys, they want to become a cricketer, and half of the girls, they want to be a painter, and rest of the half want to become an interior designer. So that is what the passion is at the age of 18, 19, 20 and 21. So at that time, if we see, passion and profession are usually very different things. So how to find your passion at that time of age? Like when you are somewhere towards the end of teens and when you're starting off with your 20s. Because passions are usually very confused, and you find your passion after like 35, 40, and you find out, okay, fine, I was good in this thing actually, but I am in a wrong job. So that is why I am not in an excellence thing. So how to find that passion at that time of your age, sir?
So we'll keep that question for you in a moment, but we'll go back to Jahara. What is the barrier to innovate and the barrier to ideas among the youth? Like, the young people, why do they have ceilings?
So they shouldn't, but I think there are several things that we have seen over the years. One, there is nobody to listen to them and guide them. There's no mentoring or counseling that is available when they are still at university. And so if they have ideas, if they want to bounce them off, there's nobody there who will say, okay, what if you do it this way or that way? You don't do it for them, but at least you listen to them and give them feedback. That is something that I think is very important. I don't think that there is a barrier. I understand this young lady said she does not have the funding to take the idea forward. How much funding? And she needs to speak to somebody, because there's plenty of funding that is available for the right ideas, for the ideas that people think have some scope, right? But not for everybody. Sometimes you have to bootstrap and take that idea to a certain level, and then people say, oh wow, this is going to be successful, let me put some money in. There can be people around you. I think in Peshawar I have met quite a few people who are willing to be angel investors to help you germinate that idea to a certain level. You need to be part of the network where this is happening. So whether that is NIC Peshawar, whether it is PIDE, where there are a lot of people who are coming here whom you can engage with, don't be shy. Go up to people, introduce yourself, say, this is what I want to talk to you about. And I think all of us who have gathered here, it's a testament to the strength of PIDE as an institution, and we're here to talk to you. So you should grab hold of everybody who's here and say, listen, this is what I want to do, what do you think? And don't be afraid to be told it's a stupid idea. No idea is stupid, all right? It's just that some ideas will work and some will not. And it's okay. You should at least try it. So I was very disappointed when you asked how many of you want to become entrepreneurs, and there was only this one young man who said he wants to be an entrepreneur. There are thousands of problems in our country that need to be solved. Every corner that you look at, there is a problem. And that problem is an opportunity for you to create a solution. You should be looking at those problems and saying, okay, I can develop a solution for this. Once you develop it for Pakistan, the same solution can work anywhere. We have seen solutions come out of Pakistan that have worked in the Middle East, have worked in Africa, have worked in Bangladesh, have worked in Sri Lanka. So don't limit yourself. Be ambitious. This is one of the things that we hear from mentors all across Pakistan, that our young people are not ambitious enough. Why do you think that you can't do it? You can. You are smarter than our generation was. You are able to do it. So I think you shouldn't limit yourself. Don't think you can't.
We have just 5 more minutes, and we have 5 panelists, so 1 minute for each panelist. For you, sir, how do you translate an idea into action?
If you allow, first I would like to answer to the lady and to the gentleman from Waziristan that if anybody who has entrepreneurship spirits and idea and they need funding, this is the best time to be young and enterprising in Pakistan because there are so many schemes from federal government and provincial government which banks like Bank of Khyber are offering even in Waziristan without collateral. And they are exactly for people, young people like you who have good ideas but don't have the, the properties to mortgage and all that. And there's a new scheme coming up next month which is up to 10 million rupees without security. So please, I will say that stop looking at yourself as that if you have limitations. This is the best country to be living in. I have lived in US and I'm telling you that there's no country like Pakistan. It is doing very well despite all the troubles, challenges and difficulties. And I know from my customers that there were in 2002, I can give one example. In 2002, there was one customer who needed a loan of 7 million rupees and he did not have his property to secure. So he offered one of his friends for mortgage. That customer today is worth 50 billion rupees in Peshawar and all through legal and halal businesses. So Pakistan has so many opportunities and so many examples. Just keep your spirits high. And and if you need any financing, please meet me after this session and I'll guide you how to. But I'll come back to the question if you allow. The question, I'm sorry.
No, so it was just how do you translate an idea into action? But we're running short of time, so just 1 minute.
Okay, you just have to don't give up.
This was a dream that I saw, a khayali pulao that I cooked. And I would need 2 to 3 volunteers who want to write a policy paper. 2 to 3 volunteers who want to write a proper policy paper. They can meet me after this session. This is Aramco Command Center. I saw this dream.
He gave us a tour of the company's command center where engineers scrutinize and analyze every aspect of the company's operations on a 220-foot digital screen.
Every facility in the kingdom, every drop of oil that comes from the ground is monitored in real time.
In this room?
In this room. And we have control of each and every facility, each and every pipeline, each and every valve on the pipeline, and therefore we know exactly what is happening in the system from A to Z.
What?
This was a 50-second video. This is a dream that I saw for education department because we are creating layers of monitoring systems, but we cannot bring teachers to the school and students to the school. If I can monitor everything in real time and each and every drop, each and every facility is monitored in real time, I would have a lot of things done. When I saw this dream, this khayali pulao, I presented it to many people. And then I came across people who joined me and they started helping me in this early childhood education, which we are now piloting. We are in the procurement phase. This entrepreneurship and startups and the robotics clubs in different schools. So they're joining hands. And I started with a 0 penny in my hand. And alhamdulillah, now I am purchasing equipment for more than 30 schools. So it's the idea, it's the khayali pulao that you cook. And for South Waziristan, yes, one of your South Waziristan fellow has Guinness Book World Records in double digits. Isn't he in Taekwondo? In double digits. He got that opportunity and he grasped it. You have opportunity. I remained your assistant political agent, I remained your political agent, and I remained your commissioner. So I know Masood from tip to top. You have an opportunity and you are provided an opportunity of a merger. And unfortunately, we are losing it again. Now the people have gone to the Supreme Court to reverse that. You have an opportunity of a huge financial resources available for the development of youth of this area. Grasp that opportunity. We are providing scholarships to 200 students. We are on merit. They appear before exam. We cut them into centers of excellence from class 6 to class 12, fully funded. They'll be provided these opportunities. And inshallah, with this, the third phase of that low area coverage, the internet facility will reach to 100% of Pakistan, and it will cover with fiber optic. This is the dream of NITB. They've completed the first phase. They are launching the second phase, which will cover up to 80% of Pakistan. And in the third phase, 100% of Pakistan will have fiber optic connectivity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Grasp the opportunity. Yes, Jahara, your final 1 minute. Message for the females particularly.
I think for the females, you need to do what your heart tells you to do, what it is that drives you. Don't let anyone tell you that it can't be done. I have seen so many young women who have been held back because somebody told them that this is not a girl's thing to do. Leave it to the men to do that. If it drives you, whether you're in computer science, whether you're in the arts, whether you're, whichever field you're in, you can do it. Because if you're committed, if you have the knowledge, if you have the skills, and if you're willing to work hard, nobody should be able to hold you back. No one should be able to tell you this is something you should not be doing because you're a woman. When this young man, I think there was one young man who stood up and said, all young men want to be cricketers and all young women want to be interior designers or something. That's not true. Some women want to be cricketers too, right? So we should not generalize, and have been very good cricketers. Look at Sana Mir, she was a great cricketer, right? So don't label people. People are individuals and can do whatever it is they feel they're good at, whatever they're passionate about, and whatever they think will make a difference to the lives of the people around them and for themselves as well.
Thank you. Dr. Shumail, your minute.
What your mind can see, you can achieve. So start seeing with your mind's eye. Thank you.
That was 15 seconds, huh? So you have the final minute.
Okay, be
Adnan.
positive, take the negativity out of you, think positively, and make things turn around. Meet the people. आज अगर हम यहाँ बैठे हैं तो हम कल कुछ भी नहीं थे. हमारे पीछे भी 30 साल की स्ट्रगल्स हैं. हमने भी लोगों से सीखा है, लोगों से पूछा है, गलतियाँ की हैं, गलत डिसीजंस लिए हैं लाइफ में, फिर आगे बढ़े हैं. So don't be shy, meet all of us. Visit chambers, visit FPCCI, meet the business houses, talk to us. We will be there to help you, support you, guide you, learn from us. This is the thing. Thank you.
Before I just close, just 10 seconds, quickly, sir.
I just have to make one comment that Bank of Khyber has sponsored actually scholarships for FATA students in IBA Karachi for master's degree, and we are unable to find FATA students who can get admission in IBA Karachi. So this is just 2 scholarships there, and we have I think 4 scholarships for IM Sciences for FATA students. So anybody interested can approach Bank of Khyber. Thank you.
Great news. So let me thank Vice Chancellor for organizing this wonderful event. And such a distinguished audience, people from all over the country. And I'm personally honored to work with the panel, very eminent, very distinguished, and I think we heard from people who have experienced it all, seen it, and are in the middle of it, that what it takes to succeed. And I think the message was very clear that you have an opportunity, grasp it. You have the opportunity to excel, go for excellence, do what you can. There is no limit in today's world. I see this girl continuously raising her hand, so you have the final word.
Either you become a CSP or a doctor or an engineer, and they don't have the access towards opportunities. They even don't know the power of innovation. They are just trained in this mindset to do this. There are 2 or I would say 3 segments of the society. Most of the people are working towards bread earning target. They are not directed towards any innovation or new things. But the literate segment is now trying to monitor and manage their kids in some direction. So will you be also taking some steps to bring the parent side in this training and education? Can you arrange some workshops with the schools or the colleges and universities to bring the parents aware of the knowledge of innovation, that how their child's creativity is dying in this system and how they can let it groom?
Vice Chancellor, your next seminar is for the parents. Thank you, everybody.